What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is indeed Wednesday, which means a new summit is now live here in Motorfest. For this week, we are going to have the Motorfest All-Stars Volume 2. What that is going to get us the Rocket Company Smoke, which is honestly pretty dope. Then we're also going to be getting ourselves the Porsche 911 Director's Cut Edition. And this car is not going to be new, by the way, which I would understand at this point. I'm sure everybody knows that. We're also then going to get ourselves some parts and 5,000 spare parts after that. To be honest, I would say I do not know if this smoke is new. Actually, I will check here in a second. The next one we're then going to have is the Holidays. That is going to get us the new Veyron there, or at least a version of it that's a wide body kit. We're then going to get ourselves the Red Blizzard smoke on top of the Bugatti, $200,000, and then of course XP after that. Kind of funny because every time we have a vehicle in a summit, the rewards are always so dang great. So I did end up wanting to mix something up with this summit though and make this a tad more interesting. The way I did end up deciding to do this is, for one, I'm not running any pro settings on anything, and number two, I did end up doing the cockpit view on every single event. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that going forward, but I do admit it was pretty dang fun. And also, as I did mention before though, I do not have that smoke in my inventory, so maybe I missed it, or it is going to be a new one. Do let me know in the comments below. I thought I heard something about that main smoke being something from the crew too, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Either way though, guys, jumping into the summit here, the first thing is going to be a slalom. So for this, I did end up using a motocross bike, and the best part though is if you don't feel like using an Alpha GP vehicle, which is easily going to be the best option on most of them, you can still easily almost get a maxed out score using any class of your choice, at least for the most part, as long as you have a score breaker set active. The next thing is going to be an escape here. Now, I'm not going to lie, guys, in first-person mode, using the Porsche 919 Street, this was pretty dang interesting. I do understand that I probably didn't get all that far on this. I could do better, but I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to leave it as is. This one's fairly simple. Once you do spawn in, you pretty much turn around, go up the mountain, come back down, hit the objective, go as fast as you can straight until you get to the road, then go kind of towards that, take a left, and head on the next road. It's honestly fairly simple. The hard part, though, is keeping your speed up, and if you're like me being in first-person mode, you're most likely not going to be able to see anything. We're then going to have a slalom. This is going to be in the water, though, and you can also use a plane. Funny part is, though, you do not have to run a plane to get a maxed out score. I ran a regular Proto WR1, guys, running a score breaker set, and you're easily going to get 157,000 points with no issues. Although driving one of the boats in first-person mode is honestly pretty interesting. Besides that though, the first event here is a Hypercar vehicle-owned race. Now for this event though, you are going to end up using the lovely McLaren 720S Liberty Walk Edition, and you're also going to have to use this car again down here in this race, but this is going to be your vehicle. If you want your own pro settings, nitrochemist and all that good stuff, you can easily run it. I would actually say the 720S is not a terrible car either. Is it going to be the best car in the entire like hypercar category? Well, most likely not, because the Bugattis would end up beating it. But for both of the events though, the big thing is watching out the corners. You can cut them. I would probably say many players might aim to like do the guttering thing around them to make them even quicker. But on the vehicle owned one though, you're not going to have the nitro chemist and all that, so do be careful when you are running that nitrous, guys, and make sure you're using it in the good places. That will end up then making you much faster in this event, and also you'll then have more nitrous for the more important areas you'll end up encountering. For the other race with the lovely McLaren though, this one's going to have a few cuts here and there, and you can probably get around the turns a tad faster doing it this method. Again, I would probably say in first person mode is going to make the cars a bit more annoying to drive, but you're also going to miss certain things or want to get around a corner, and being in third person is probably going to be a tad easier to see. Who would have thought? The next one though is going to be the Restomod with a Street Tier 1. You will have to use a car of your choice. For this I did end up wanting to do something a tad different, and it's still going to be one of the best Tier 1 vehicles in the game. Yes, the Audi RS2 Avant's going to be great. I almost used it, but I was like, you know what, wait a second, let me try out the Porsche 911 Carrera. This car is still easily going to be one of the best Tier 1 vehicles in the game, which I would probably guess at this point most players probably already know of this thing, but driving this car in first person mode on this event was actually pretty dang fun. There's going to be a few cuts, guys. You can get around the turns decently quick. Do not be afraid to go around them and cutting the road a bit or going off-road. you can break the fence down. Once you do break the fence down in certain places, it will be gone for the remainder of that event, so you can keep cutting that said corner, which in the end will end up making you faster and faster in this event. The next one we're then going to have is a Street Tier 2 race, picking an Audi of your choice. Now for this, you're probably going to notice a big trend of what everybody is running. What I did want to do here is I saw the Audi RS6 being used, which you have to run this car in the other event, but I was like, you know what, man, let's use something else. I did end up using the Audi RS7 Sportback. Is the RS6 better? Probably, most likely is going to be a better option, but with me though, I wanted to use something else. And as you all know, guys, I'm not running pro settings on the Sportback or anything like that. Funny thing is, I also do tend to not do any of the guttering stuff or like things that make you quicker. And that's the thing though, like it's not that I'm going to be against doing that stuff, because it's definitely going to make you a lot faster once you do master it. I just tend not to use that many shortcuts and kind of stay on the road and all that. Not really sure why, I just really enjoy doing the races in that aspect. And I guess that's probably going to make the summits a tad more interesting, at least for me anyway. Besides that, we're then going to have the lovely M3 Sport race here. For this, I did end up using the Special Edition M3, which not having pro settings. I like the way this car feels a lot more than the regular M3 Sport Evolution. Not really sure why, maybe it's the way the car feels around the corners, but I was using the regular M3 a bit in this race to practice with it. I was then like, okay, you know what, let's try the other one out. Turns out the other edition I feel like is still a better option without pro settings, and I'm probably going to guess right now and say with pro settings it's still probably better than the M3. Then again, these cars are probably going to be fairly similar to each other. And then for the last event here in the Summit though, you're going to have to use the RS6 Avant. For this race, guys, I would probably say it's most likely going to be fairly simple to do it. And the reason why I do say this, though, is going to come down to the simple fact that everybody is most likely going to know this race. The reason for that is, well, we have seen this multiple times in other summits. It is going to be a 3-lap race. I would probably say at this point, everyone's like, okay, so this turn I go this fast and all that stuff. And, you know, probably everyone is going to be fairly familiar with it at this point. I mean, it's not going to be the first time we have seen this event. Besides all that though, guys, do let me know what you think about this summit in the comments below. And I do admit though, even though this was going to be another summit based on hypercars and street tiered vehicles, it was decently fun for the most part, even being in first person mode. The thing is though, I do want to check this here quick heading over to the summit though. Let me go over to the next summit and see what the races are. We got Hypercar, Street Tier 2, and Hypercar. Honestly, not that surprised. But again, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below.